Some NFL logos have interesting stories behind them, yet some lack any form of creativity and excitement, like the Washington football team with their lovely W, which seems more like a college logo. Some of these NFL logos have simple explanations behind them, but several NFL logos have special meanings. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 10 NFL logos that have hidden images and meanings. Number 1 is the Baltimore Ravens. The late Art Modell moved the Cleveland Browns to Baltimore in 1996, and the team name was changed to the Ravens. As Baltimore fans know, the team name was chosen during a fan contest, and Ravens obviously won as it pays homage to the legendary poet Edgar Allan Poe, who is buried in Baltimore and best known for his poem, The Raven. The Ravens' current logo looks nothing like the old one that was used from 1996 to 98. The old logo depicted a shield with the letter B, with the raven and wings attached to it. But here's another story. A Maryland-based artist named Frederick Bouchot designed something very similar to that initial Ravens logo. He asked the franchise for an autographed helmet in exchange for the rights to use his logo, but the Ravens never honored his request, and Bouchot took them to court over copyright infringement. When it was all said and done, the Ravens were ultimately forced to change their logo for the 1999 season, and so the Ravens ended up changing their logo to a raven's head with the letter B, obviously for Baltimore. That logo doesn't have a head in meaning, but the team's alternate logo sure does. They can't use Bouchot's drawing, but the Ravens came up with a different shield-based design to use as their secondary logo. This one displays the B and R for Baltimore Ravens, while also paying homage to the state's very long history of heraldry. The top right corner of this shield depicts the alternating calvert, which is featured on the flag for the state of Maryland, as well as the flag of Baltimore. And the bottom left shows the Crossland emblems, which is also seen on the Maryland state flag. The Tennessee Titans. As much as we all hope the Tennessee Titans logo had something to do with the amazing Denzel movie Remember the Titans, it doesn't. The Houston Oilers relocated to Memphis in 1997. They retained the team name and went by the Tennessee Oilers. After 2 seasons, however, the franchise relocated to Nashville, where they launched a new era of football. The team moved into the Adelphi Coliseum, now named the Nissan Stadium. They also changed up their uniform colors and debuted a new logo, the same ones that they have today. The current Titans logo depicts a circle with a trail of flames and 3 red stars and the letter T inside of it. You obviously know what the T stands for. As for those 3 red stars, they pay homage to the flag of Tennessee, which is quite similar to the Titans logo. Instead of the red stars, of course, the state flag has 3 white stars. The flames attached to the circle represent the Titan in Greek mythology. There's the T for Tennessee Titans. And finally, the stars are a tribute to the state flag. Gotta hand it to Tennessee. Their creativity definitely beats Washington's. And the Titans actually reached the Super Bowl for the first time in the 1999 season after changing up their look. Changing up the logo pays off. Pittsburgh Steelers. The current Steelers logo have been used since 1969. Their previous logos look nothing like the current steel mark. Started in 1933, the franchise was known first as the Pittsburgh Pirates from 1933 to 39, even though they already had a baseball team that held that name since 1891. Finally, in 1940, the football team ended the confusion by changing their name to what we know them today, the Steelers. The team's steel mark logo, originated by U.S. Steel, is similar to that of the American Iron and Steel Institute. The logo consists of 3 hypocycloids inside of a circle that reads Steelers. They've had a few different meanings over the years, but currently the yellow represents coal, the blue is steel scrap, and the orange is iron ore. The materials are used to make steel. At one point in history, Pittsburgh was known as the steel capital of the world. The football team continues to honor that part of the city's legacy by adding some of its history to their logo. The Philadelphia Eagles. The in-state rivals of the Steelers, the Eagles, joined the NFL in 1933. But unlike the Steelers, the Eagles had kept the same team name since the beginning. The Eagles name was inspired from the blue eagle seen on the logo of Franklin D. Roosevelt National Recovery Administration, which was introduced in 1933, the same year the Eagles came into the league. A weird fact about both of these teams is that the Eagles and Steelers franchises actually combined into one team, the Steagles, in 1943. This new combined team was due to the fact that many of the players from both teams had gone to serve in World War II. In 1996, the Eagles franchise debuted their current midnight green colors and logo. It's not so easy to notice initially, but if you look closely, you can see that the Eagles' feathers around the neck make out the shape of the letter E, because, their team name is Eagles. After going with a few basic logos in their early years, the franchise did something creative and unique in the mid-90s, and it's no wonder they kept it ever since. It's one of the slickest logos in all of professional sports. Next up on our list, we have the Atlanta Falcons. At first glance, the Falcons logo is just a falcon in red, black, and white colors, right? But for those of you who don't already know the hidden message within it, notice how it makes out the shape of the letter F and that was designed like that on purpose, of course. The Falcons have used this logo since the 2003 season, but even if you take a look back at their older logos, you'll notice that the Falcon was always still sort of shaped like an F. F being a form of change, the team's owner, Arthur Black, described the meaning behind the logo. The new logo depicts a more powerful, aggressive Falcon, one of fast movement. It's also representative of the evolution and direction of our team. I mean, the Falcons enjoyed some success under Michael Vick, and both Matt Ryan and Julio Jones led the franchise to its greatest run and a berth in the Super Bowl. So I guess you could say that the logo kind of lived up to the owner's statement. Carolina Panthers. This isn't actually confirmed, but it's interesting enough that we decided to include it on our list. The Carolina Panthers are based in Charlotte, North Carolina, but they go by Carolina instead of North Carolina in their team name. As such, some believe that the Panthers logo depicts the shape of both North and South Carolina. It's just something some observers on the internet have pointed out. They're awfully similar. The Panthers have kept the same logo since their inaugural 1995 season. In 2012, they modernized the logo by making slight changes to the eyes and mouth of the panther. They also made changes behind the whiskers and made the nose white instead of blue color. So it looks like this hidden message in the Panthers logo is here to stay. Denver Broncos. Now, the Broncos logo on its own doesn't carry any hidden features. You have to look at the full logo, the one that reads Denver Broncos at the bottom. Notice that one of the letters in there has a completely different shape, paying tribute to the whole Broncos thing. As a matter of fact, that isn't only a horseshoe that you can see there. The Broncos introduced this logo and their current uniforms in 1997, and then went on to win their first Super Bowl that same year. In case you're wondering, the logo is based off the team's mascot named Thunder. Obviously much different than the previous Broncos uniforms, but hey, the franchise has enjoyed much greater success since the change, including 3 Super Bowl victories. Probably should have made the change earlier. Next on the list, we have the NFL logo. If you look up the NFL logo history, you'll see the design has been kept relatively the same. The most obvious difference, the current logo introduced in 2008, depicts 8 stars. The 8 stars, like the Pro Bowl logo, represents the 8 NFL divisions. You know them all by now. Following the Houston Texans' arrival in 2002, the NFL expanded from 6 divisions to 8. The Texans were placed in the AFC South, and the Seattle Seahawks moved from the AFC West to the NFC West. The previous league logo, introduced in 1980, had 25 stars. The reason behind the 25 stars, that's unclear. No explanation was ever given. It's worth noting that the league had 28 teams split in the 6 divisions back in 1980, so the number 25 was really insignificant back then. The current logo uses dark colors of blue and red compared to the ones that were used from 1980 to 2007. You also notice the league moved the angle of the football and the logo pushed it closer to the top. This was done because the league wanted it to look like the football scene at the very top of the Vince Lombardi Trophy, presented annually to the Super Bowl winning team. Now, what about the Pro Bowl? The NFL has run the Pro Bowl, a best-on-best showcase since 1950. The event took place at Aloha Stadium in Hawaii from 1980 to 2016, in all but 2 years, with those 2 exceptions being the 2010 Pro Bowl, which was held at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, and the 2015 Pro Bowl, which was played at State Farm Stadium in Phoenix. Nowadays, the event takes place in Orlando. When the Pro Bowl was played in Hawaii, the league had a brand new logo for the event every year, but since 2011, the league has kept the logo largely the same without any significant changes. The Pro Bowl logo, which depicts the event's trophy, has 4 stars on each side, which represents the 8 divisions in the NFL, with the AFC East, North, South, and West on one side, and the NFC East, North, South, and West in the middle. And in the middle, of course, they're separated by the NFL logo, with the 4 stars representing the 4 divisions in each conference, and the NFL logo in the middle. It symbolizes the NFC and AFC conferences battling it out for the trophy. And then you have a hole in the middle that makes out the shape of a football. Last up, we have the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts franchise was based in Baltimore from 1953 to 1983 before the late Robert Irsay relocated them to Indianapolis in 1984. He opted to keep the Colts name, and the franchise kept the uniform colors intact. The Colts' old logo showed a horse wearing a football helmet and holding a ball. In '73, the franchise changed the logo to the horseshoe that they've had maintained ever since. The uniforms have only seen a slight adjustment over the years, but in 2020, the Colts decided to introduce a new all-state uniform that pays homage to the whole Indianapolis Colts thing. Wanting to have an updated, modernized logo, the council introduced the secondary C logo. Look very closely and you can see that the C is designed to make out the Indiana state shape inside of it. They kept the 7 grommets of the C that you could also find on the franchise's main logo. The Colts stated the shape of Indiana was done to honor our home state and community. That's it for today, folks. What other NFL logos have hidden messages and meanings behind them? What's the worst logo in the league? What's the best logo? If you liked the video, go ahead and smash that like button and consider subscribing. And let us know what video you'd like us to make. Until next time.